Then I'm going to look at this column. And I'm going to ask you probably if I change the lead time.
You have this, man.
So if I change the lead time, does anything here in this column also change or not?
Yes.
What does change if I change the lead time?
The M.
No, it doesn't change the technical stock at the beginning. It stays the same.
The M.
It doesn't change the M. The M is the same as the T, the target. So you may read take for this. It doesn't change. What does change?
The reorder point, yeah, it makes
The reorder point. Look at the whiteboard. There you find that the L is in the reorder point. So this one should change. You can change it here, but it also could be that you change it in the symbols in the beginning. But there is a relation between those, and therefore, in the reorder point, you can see here, it's calculated, and it uses the lead time. So that's the first line of questioning. Suppose you've answered that, then I'm going to look at the model, and you fill in these figures. In the beginning, it's simple, because you say, oh, what is the economical stock? The economical stock is the stock in the beginning, the same as we have. Oh, sorry. Come on, you should do that. It takes time. The same as the technical stock. Then you can fill in what is the reorder point in this model. In every period it stays the same, correct? So the reorder point will be 200. Not a problem. I can fill in this line. Then I have the next line. The next line is the PO, and the PO stands for the purchase order. Do I order or don't I order? I look at the reorder point, and the reorder point, the economical stock, is not below the reorder point. So this one I won't order, it will be 0. Of course, I will do this with an if statement. I will say if this one is below this one, I will order here. How much will I order? Then I will look at the model. It's a Q model, so then I will order 200. That's how I do that. Correct? That means in this case it's 0. Then this one will be 0 in the beginning. Then you have an R. An R is of the number of orders that you receive. So for instance, if I order, and I do it over here, suppose I order 200 over here. Then it means you have cumulative also 200. Suppose it's delivered 2 times 2 periods after that, correct? If it's delivered 2 times after that, then it means in the next period it's not delivered yet, so I still have cumulative. I do not order again, but I still have 200 that should be delivered. If it's delivered, then it means what will happen is these 200 will go, because now it's delivered, and I will receive it. If I receive it, then it means, in this case, that I will have, I'll let it receive over here. Then you must say, oh, this one is the order I've ordered over here. Correct?
Yep.
So I have to go back 1, 2 columns and 3 rows. And you can do that by a function. You can do that by using, that's called the offset function. The offset function, you can use the offset function and tell in the offset function in the reference that you go back 2 rows, -2, and you go back in columns 3 I said, huh? -3, and first he needs a reference. Always goes wrong when I do it this way. And the reference was I said.
You're wasting my memories.
No, it's on the wrong side of my brain.
Move me. You're waiting.
Probably make a mistake.
See now,
The break there.
now I have the answer for the exam in HD, full HD.
But you find out exactly how it works. You check it, 300, and then this one also is 300. So, the numbers of rows, you go back or in front, you can do that with the offset function. By the way, the offset function, if you are doing Visual Basic for applications, then you will see that the offset function is used very often in Excel and in Access, because with this function you can shift very easily between columns and rows. So therefore it's a famous function as soon as you do that. Then we know what then is received. The demand, in our case, the demand was 50. That means in the beginning you do it like this, you fill in the 50, not a problem. Copy it. And make a copy of it. Goes like this. And that's not a very. Now we are going to calculate the technical stock at the end. This technical stock at the end, of course, is the technical stock that we have in the beginning, plus what we have received that period, minus what we have to deliver that period. That is the stock at the end. Then, the economical stock. The economical stock, there are two ways what you can do, is you can say equals the, you can calculate this from the beginning stock, but you also can say, oh no, I look at the technical stock at the end, plus what I have ordered in total, and that's the cumulative over here. And then it's easy. You can copy them. This will is very easy. Put it over here. Figures are not correct yet, because we haven't filled it. Then you say, what is the beginning stock? Technical is, of course, the ending stock of the previous period. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Then the economical stock at the beginning is, of course, the economical stock at the end of the period. Here I make the change from going from one period to another period. And I put it over here. And suddenly the graph becomes a little bit more visible for us. That means, when I've done that, so I have my receipts, then I have to fill in here the orders. And if I fill in the orders here, then I see what happens here with that graph. I'll tell you something else. What probably will happen is, so I'll explain to you first thing I probably will ask here is, I'll go, no I won't say, probably I'll ask you what's the first time when you order. And if you don't know that you have to look over here, then you are into trouble. Because this is the first time in this case that I order. I order 300, correct? Then the next question probably is when I'm going to receive this one. Then probably the student must say, oh, you receive it, oh, in this period. Then I ask why, and you say, oh, it depends on the delivery time. In this case, the delivery time was 2.
That sounds like
But you
I'm
can
gonna
answer that.
fail.
Next question. Next question, what I probably will ask you is, then I probably will ask you, I make a small change. I make this one minus, I make this one, no, not minus, not to be very nasty. I make this one 500. And then probably something like this happens in your graph. And then I ask the student, is the model wrong or is the model not? Is the model okay or not okay? Assuming that the other lines were correct. Then the model is okay. But you have a negative stock. That means there is a difference in two worlds. You have the world of the model and you have the real world. And in the real world you have the assumption that the demand was 50, but in the real world it can be that suddenly it's 500. That means the model is still okay, but the model is not in line with the reality. So you still have the same model, but it doesn't mean that the model also gives you the answers that are in reality. So there are two things. For instance, in reality, I cannot have a stock of -20. It doesn't exist. But in a model it can be -20. Nothing wrong with it, it's just paper or a screen. So you can put on the screen whatever you like. But in reality you can't have it. So you must make that distinction in your head, that the model is something else than the reality is. Suppose I've done this one, now I have to do the second one. The only thing that what I do is I take this one and I make a copy of it. I change the name. Oh, let's make it a T model. Now I have to look at the same model again and change my decision rules. So probably I must change the if over here. Because it has another if. Because now it's not looking at the RP, but it's looking at the S or